Well, it looks like it's that time again to take on another Sonic game and give it a go with our little challenge. I don't have a bad hint at another title, so I'm just gonna get to the point. Sonic 3 Knuckles is a game that I never really grew up with. I have some nostalgia because, hot damn, it has one of my favorite zones in the entire series, and the debut of my favorite character in the series. When I posted an update that I was already recording gameplay for the video, I had a few responses that I wanted to address. Seems like I'm addressing something in every video, huh? Anyways, I will not be using the fan-modded editions of Sonic 3, that being Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited or Sonic 3 Air, and the beloved Sonic 3 Complete. As much as I enjoy those versions of the game, including Sonic 3 Air's sweet 16:9 display, I gotta stick with the official release this time. I even debated on whether or not I should play each game separately, and outside of a few minor differences to specific areas in the game, there isn't much different with the level design, so I'll be combining them. Launch base will be a little bit easier. At least I hope so. The rules are simple. Rule number 1, I cannot defeat a Badnik by making physical contact with it, releasing the animal or object inside, and receiving points for it. If I defeat it, I will restart the entire level from the beginning of the act. Rule number 2, I must fight mini-bosses and the bosses to make progress. So if the music changes, that's fair game. With the rules set, it's time to get started. Can you beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles without defeating a Badnik? Let's find out. I started Angel Island Zone Act 1 trying to get a high spot so I can grab some collectibles, but I missed the platform and landed on this monkey dude. I kid you not, that's the real name of it. So I continued to hop over this Rhino bot and went into the big ring. Alright, I'm going for all the emeralds this time. Once I'm back at Angel Island, I take a higher route and then went through the area with the 2 loops to move on to the second part of the act. I dropped down and got into another big ring, only to completely screw it up and now I've been ejected. From there, I missed the jump and went right into the water. I thought these Caterkiller Juniors would be a nuisance, but timing is key with them. They're not much of a threat on this run. I wanted to take the fire shield with me, but avoid defeating this Bluminator. It worked until I dashed into the spikes, and after that, I fight this Flamecraft to finish Act 1. I started Act 2 by going into a big ring. It wasn't a very difficult one, so now I have 2 emeralds. Afterwards, I took the route with a collapsing bridge and was careful when breaking the stone wall. I continued to take the lower route so I can drain the water, then I wait for these spinning tiles and deflected the Bluminator's projectiles. 2 loops later and I'm in the big ring. Sketchy jumps and a bunch of turns and now I have the 3rd emerald. After that I go past these platforms at the waterfall and now it's boss time. Act 2 is officially complete, then Knuckles destroys the bridge beneath me. Hydrocity Zone starts with me dropping in the water and then hitting the switch to go forward. Standard stuff. I keep going while avoiding spikes, Mega Chompers, and these Poindexters. Poindexters. Then I get to a point where there is a Blastoid. This is where things get interesting. See, I can't make progress without defeating the Blastoids since they are attached to the collapsing floor. So it looks like a dead end. Second attempt, and I swear I'm good at platforming. I swear. Hit a chopper, and now I have to restart again. I took a moment to stop at the save select screen, and in that time, I looked up a map of Act 1. That route I tried going for was the route I needed. It was the method I was approaching it with that failed. You see, I had to hit the red spring, which will take me to a yellow spring, and that's how I go up. After that, I go up because of these fans, and then avoid a Blastoid to go into another special stage. After collecting our 4th emerald, I jumped over a group of Poindexters. Then I slowly make my way through to drown, at the last possible moment to get an air bubble. One more time, full speed, stay out of a ball, and I'm surrounded by another group of Badniks. Then I spin dash and go right through a Turbo Spiker. I tried going through the loop again, but I had a Chomper on me. I actually thought rolling in a ball would defeat it, but nothing has been defeated and no points were collected. Then I hit the Turbo Spiker again. One more time, I made it through it, but I was attacked, and hit a Poindexter. At least the Spiker despawned. So this approach will make you rush yourself to get an air bubble. I mean, it's doable, so there's no problems here. And after dodging 2 more Turbo Spikers, we're at the Act 1 boss. One more attempt and the Act 1 boss is finished. Act 2, aside from having one of the best pieces of music in Sonic history, has no real obstacles in the beginning section. Then I come across Jaws, which practically has its nose in Sonic's butt. Seriously, too close. Then I went through the speed section, although it puts Sonic in a ball, though there is nothing in the path that could jeopardize the attempt. Then I have to dodge the Turbo Spiker to get to this rotating platform. Then I moonwalk to then go to this bridge. Afterwards, I avoid getting into a ball to slam face first into a Badnik. And then I go into a special stage. Emerald number 5 is ours for the taking, and going back into the water allows me to get to the higher route, and damn these Jaws. Some more platforming and moonwalking. Then we get near the end of the act. At this point, I go back so I can reach a rotating platform to get through another big ring. One more emerald to go, and Act 2 boss is here. And gone. That insta-shield is really good. I dropped into Marble Garden Zone and immediately went for the electric shield. I take the lowest possible route and I end up at the tunnel bot. On a bit of a side note, it's interesting that the game shows the axe boss early twice, once in Angel Island and one here. Another thing to mention is that these spikers, which will make an appearance throughout the rest of the zone, have these spikes that act more like a weak spring, so not only do you not take damage, but you also avoid defeating it. Just don't use the insta-shield. Okay, back to the run. I make it to this blue spinning top and go left to these Ferris wheel-like platforms. From there, I utilize the best attribute of the lightning shield and use the double jump to make some of the platforming easier and faster, avoiding the bubbles in the process. I then go on another spinning top and let the game do its work until I slam into spikes. From there, I break through these walls until I get to this face. Now, you'd probably think, well hey, that's another dead end, better find a new way through. Not exactly. This thing takes multiple hits, and when the weak point breaks, there's no animal buddy escaping. Crisis averted. I move to the left until I find this hidden big ring to go into the 7th stage. I still don't know how I messed this up the first time, but now we have Supersonic. With our 200 plus rings, I make my descent until I reach the ramp area on the top. Somehow, it's not going up, but it might be because I'm going the wrong way. I made it over, got the fire shield, and now I'm fighting the tunnel bot. So this is the point where I'll be using Supersonic for every single boss fight. Why? Because I earned the emeralds. I'm allowed this. And with that said, the act is over. Act 2 starts with me ascending up these rings and then getting burned by Eggman, who wanted to make a dramatic appearance. After that, it was just a lot of running. No spinning, just running. Then the top that I was on leads me to this inside area. Damage boost and I summon the stairs. First, big ring, then back to the main path, once I figure out how to make it up this cliff. I let this top take me all the way to the spikes of a bubble. After getting Goomba stomped by a mantis, I ascend, then descend these sweet looking loops and turns. Seriously, this section is so much fun to watch. I tried to avoid the invincibility so I don't end up making a mistake, like, say a mantis jumps out and surprises me, and then, I don't know, say I don't use the invincibility to keep the mantis around, but then spikes and an arrow take me down. You know, a mistake. On that second loop, I jumped out on the right side so I can take a different route. I kept going on that path until the spinning top stopped near a bubble, and at that point, Eggman greets me once again, but to destroy the terrain this time. You know what I dislike? Surprises. So after a bit more platforming, I reached the boss, and since I didn't have enough rings, I had to be very careful against the jet drill pod. By careful, I mean get 7 hits before it even breaks the ground, and with that, Marble Garden Zone is over. Carnival Night starts by just running right. Honestly, the best thing about the clamor is the top acts like a spring, so there's no trouble and it's pretty cool to look at. And if I could be honest, there isn't much to run into, so it's a lot of fast movement which I've missed. One thing I will never miss are these spring setups. Ones that send you back, and these other ones that send you back and forth. How about one that does both? Then it finally happens. The stupid Batbot gets in the way, and now I have to start over. Second attempt, and I really wanted to get away from this Batbot, but a bumper and a bad jump means I'm starting over again. I want the big ring, but I can't really get into it for some stupid reason. I tried getting back and accidentally activated Supersonic. So now I can take the spinning platform to go up instead of the left. The problem now is that I have to disable Supersonic. I went to the right and there's a barrel in sight. Fun. But what's actually more fun is the last stretch of land that I was speeding through because there's nothing in the way. Then it's a fight with this self-destruct machine, and here I thought it was already inappropriate to begin with. The name doesn't help, but Act 1 is done. Act 2 begins, and I just let the level take me along until I get underwater. I go up and there's still no enemies in sight, but at this cannon, I stop to grab a bubble shield. From there, I keep going along to avoid blastoids in the process, and take a barrel to get a flame shield, and try to go to a higher route. So I use the air dash to miss the Batbot, but I hit a clamor in the process. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have moved to the highest point. This time I got past the group of Badniks and continued on my path. I really wanted this big ring, but the Batbot just takes my shield. So now I'm at the midpoint, and there's Knuckles again, chuckling away, turning off the lights. Honestly, why is he helping Eggman with the electric bill? I say waste more of it. Now that I'm in the second half, I really needed to grab this bubble shield. And you know what's even better? When there's 6 blastoids in a very tight space. The water level drops and I use the barrel to get crushed. Okay, that one's on me. One more time and there isn't too much until I get a bit higher and start moving towards the left, but more blastoids. Some 6 ceiling running action and we're back to taking damage from a clamor. Then we screw Eggman over by turning the lights back on, and now we're at the infamous Barrel of Doom. Up and down, that's all. I quickly avoid the 2 Batbots that were waiting for me to show up, go left, go right, avoid these flying metal demon light bulbs, and we're at the boss. After some supersonic cheesing, I take out the energy ship, and that wraps up Carnival Night Zone. Ice Cap Zone starts with a snowboarding section, where I kept jumping. Then I hit a wall. There isn't too much in the beginning, it's pretty much a straightforward path, and I just need to not hit these star pointers, which are basically Orbinauts, but in Ice Cap Zone. So I'm going to call them Orbinauts to make things easier on myself. I just let the level guide me through until I jump towards this platform sticking out of the side of the wall. I got the electric shield, which is going to help me fix some bad jumps and not hit these penguinators. Once again, the level is guiding me. And then I use the lightning shield to trigger these icicles. I pushed this giant rock, and as I was riding said rock, I held down. The score hasn't changed, so we're good. Good thing I don't use the spin dash or the roll because I went head first into a penguinator. Then I tried and failed to make a jump with the super sensitive spring. Froze and nearly fell off, but just barely held on to the edge. After that, I made it to the mini boss, no supersonic this time, but the ice ball goes down fast. Act 1 is done. Act 2 starts and I immediately launch to the higher route. Then I kinda tiptoe my way through until I get through these loops. I saw a higher platform, but I wanted to play it safe, so I took this loop to the cave area. But I slowed down in the tunnel. Again, mistakes could happen. I thought I was gonna hit this penguinator, but it disappeared. Huh. I didn't even do anything and it despawned. Hey, can you see the water here? Yeah, me neither. Now that I'm out of the cave, I dodged some penguins and the last Orbinaut, and at last, it's the fight with Dr. Eggman's Freezomatic. The insta-shield is great, because now Ice Cap is done. Launch Base Zone has a few traps. One being this alarm system that, if I were to activate it, then I would have to deal with these Flybot 767s. Great for grinding lives and points, but useless here. I take the higher route and slowly go towards the tube, and get sent off like mail. Boy, isn't that a dated comparison. From there, I avoid these Orbinauts and hit the switch. Corkies are going to be a problem because it's either the laser or the Orbinaut that will hit me. Just dodge the Ribot and the flames. I'm playing it safe by letting the level guide me and trying to avoid rolling. I am curious about this red spring, so I want to see where it goes. Ribot hits me, and now I have to get by without being burnt to a crisp or lasered to death. I took a risk with the spin dash, but it actually paid off. I slowly moved towards the right, and I went through this other tube, and on the other side, I almost made a huge mistake with the spin dash. Good thing the Snail Blaster's shell protects it. So far, I've done a good job of avoiding things, but a bad job of explaining where to go because this level layout is insane. Anyways, I activate the alarm, so guess what comes next? Nothing. There was enough space for me to go back, so it never showed up. Now I made it to the end of the act, and Knuckles throws a bomb at the floor. What's this guy's problem? Anyways, Supersonic vs. Dr. Eggman swing 'em spikes, and I already win. Act 2, and I ran forward. Unfortunately, I hit a Badnik that appeared out of nowhere. Rather than going to the beginning of the zone by restarting, I just took a death since it wasn't too far away and I didn't really go through a checkpoint. Take 2, and I damage boost. Twice. Then I go higher, and damn it! Not only do I take a hit, but I also get stuck at this Ribot, and then these Corkies are here to ruin my day even more. By the way, you can run under these Ribots without having to roll or anything. I would have never guessed that. From there, I go right, avoid being charred, and then a little more damage boosting, until I get to this piece where I have to break through to travel through water. Next, I avoid some lasers and some more Ribots, and drop down to grab as many rings as possible. It didn't help because I lost the bubble shield and my rings trying to make some progress. And it didn't take too long until I'm at the boss. I used Supersonic against Dr. Eggman's ball shooter, and I went under the 50 ring threshold needed for the transformations. Now I have to actually fight the beam rocket with normal Sonic, but it's easy. And with that, the Sonic 3 portion of Sonic 3 and Knuckles is complete. And now it's time for the Sonic and Knuckles portion of the game, but we'll leave that for part 2 of this video. Okay, let's just get into the second half of the game. Now that I've landed in Mushroom Hill Zone, there's only one thing to do. Unlock the Super Emerald Blue Sphere stages. 1 down, 6 to go. Now I'm taking a lower route until I run into 2 butter droids. I'm not too confident with that enemy placement, so I went back so I can go to a higher point. The only problem is that one of the little jerks followed me and knocked me down. So now I have to damage boost to get my way through the same 2 butter droids. Avoid the dragonflies and go higher, then I swing on this little thing so I can get to the second Super Emerald stage. I plan on getting most of them in Mushroom Hill Zone just so that way I can avoid taking any detours in later zones. Super Emerald number 2 is mine. From there I run towards the right and I take a plunge into... Okay, I made the most pathetic jump into spikes. Now I'm stuck in a really bad place. There are butter droids and mush meanies in the way, so I decide to spin dash. And it works. I'm at the High Hell mini boss, some insta-shield cheese, and Act 1 is over. Act 2, and damn it, Knuckles! Anyways, I take a bubble shield and avoided the Cluckoid, and that is 1 extra letter from being inappropriate. Sometimes I am a bit too careful to not hit anything. I dropped down to use the momentum and ended up at another big ring for the 3rd Super Emerald. I tried going lower from there to find another big ring only to get sent into this dragonfly, thanks to the Mad Mole. I run into another red spring and get launched into another big ring for that damn 4th Super Emerald. It's expected at the second time around, huh? At first, I thought I was stuck in the spot with the Butter Droid, Mushmeanie, and Cluckoid, but all I had to do was spin dash to a higher platform, and I'm stuck again. I swear it took me a minute to figure this one out. I went back to go up, only to get sent back by another Cluckoid. I'm so glad I can have these things reset, or I'd be out of options. I get past that area, but now I'm searching for another big ring. I swear there's one nearby, but I can't remember the exact location. So I said screw it and moved to the next section of the level, which I think there is one behind this Cluckoid, but I can't get around it because it'll just keep sending me back. I just moved on and made it to the zone's boss, and after chasing Eggman's Jet Mobile, Mushroom Hill Zone is done. Flying Battery Zone starts, and I died. One more time, and there isn't too much in the way, just some techno squeaks and blasters. Jumped into the propellers and landed on top of a platform, but I took damage as if I touched it from the side. What's up with that? I waited for the electricity to take care of two of the blasters, and avoiding the other one in front of me wasn't too bad. I kept going until I found a fork in the road, and I chose to take the path that had me jumping on these tiny platforms because it's the route that I always take. Also because I can push this set of spikes and get into a big ring. We're at 5 now. This emerald is purple. I leave that section for a moment of deja vu, and now I have 6. Once I have my 6th emerald, I get to these capsules and avoid the tops of them because they more than likely have Badniks inside. A little bit further and I'm at the mini-boss. It's a capsule named Gapsule. I'm sure if I was the developer I'd be like, thank you. The creative genius behind this name is a gift. Bad names aside, Act 1 is finished. Act 2 starts with me taking damage from a Techno Squeak, but it's alright. I take this rising platform to then damage boost through these other Techno Squeaks because of their amazing placement. After this open ceiling area, I jumped on the retracting platforms to take a higher route. It was a great choice because the level just carries me with no issues. That is, until the damage boosting returns with these blasters. Then I jump on these metal platforms to climb around, and I nearly ruin it with a close call. One more damage boost later and I spin dash jump to another big ring, and with that I now have all the super emeralds. After that is Dr. Eggman's attempt to kill us with a laser, followed by running and getting crushed, fighting the hang mobile, and with that, Flying Battery is done. Sandopolis starts with me having to dodge these scorps and then going up this sand wall. I missed the jump of these swinging platforms, then fell on these spikes that I've avoided a few times because there was another scorp in the upper area. Keep going right and I realized I was going backwards. Rolled the falling sand up, and I went into this sand fall? Whatever, I'm going with it. The most important thing is that the sandworms kill me. Starting from the checkpoint, I made the jump on the swinging platforms, and then pushed the rock on this track. A new issue are these rockins because they are Badniks disguised as rocks. Anyways, now I get to scale down this wall and ran into nothing for a bit, go forward, don't fall, and go down another wall. Then things get interesting. For some reason, I thought this falling sand led to a lower path. Nope, it led to death. Also, did you know if you had to continue, you could start from the very last checkpoint? I had no idea. After the sand, I had to damage boost through the scorp. Make that 2. Okay, 3. I went through the double loop and the red spring to scale down a 3rd wall. I wasn't sure if I was near the end, so I chose to try getting 50 rings at this bonus stage. Good thing is that it was the slots one. Oh, that was quick. Turns out I was at the end because I had one more wall to scale down until I fought the Guardian. Act 1 is over. Act 2 is going to be an experience. Anyways, I avoid the sandworm and took a detour for a lightning shield. After I hit the capsule, the fun really begins. After taking a while to slide downwards, then was crushed. Get hit by the scorp, and then just ran forward. There isn't much until I hit this cork that holds the sand in. Unfortunately, as I scaled this section, I was not able to turn the lights off, and the Heudoros are now after me. Oh, and I triggered Hypersonic by accident. I figured the Scorp was going to get in the way, but I guess you could just jump over it since the tail doesn't count as part of its hitbox when it takes damage. I almost landed on another Scorp. Thankfully, I had a high enough jump to keep going forward. And to keep my ring count up, I got into another checkpoint and went into the bonus stage. I didn't get 50, but it's fine. And now I'm near the end. Opened up one of the last areas, and now I'm at the Egg Golem. There's no fight here, but Sandopolis is now done. Dropping into Lava Reef Zone, and it only takes around 30 seconds to hit a fireworm. One more time, and I did it again. This time it was a Toximister, though it did take me about a minute to realize what I did, because I thought I hit a different enemy. Attempt number 3, and... Attempt number 4, and... It finally dawns upon me that the Toximister gives points. Attempt 5. Good thing is that these turrets don't give points or drop an animal. Took the wheel elevator down, then had an Iwamodoki. This drilling bot drops down, and I can't find out the name of it. Seriously, I can't. Oh well, we drop into the next part, and wait a second. The Iwamodoki exploded. An animal popped out. The score is visible, but I earned none of it. What's going on? I mean, I guess I earned none of it, so it doesn't hit all 3 requirements in the rules. On top of that, I didn't make direct contact to cause it to be destroyed, because it kind of sets off like a bomb on its own. From there, I climbed the steps, changed shields. After the checkpoint, I screwed up once again. I'm at this unbreakable wall and I wanted to air dash through it, but I changed my mind at the very last moment, one more time, and it was safe to dash through. I panicked for nothing. I avoided getting burned, thanks to the shield. Neat. Went between the toxin misters and was crushed. I swear I'm good at this game. Anyways, I took a risk by spin dashing and then went down this elevator where there is another toxin mister in a very tight space, and unfortunately damage boosting doesn't work. For a while, I thought that was it. I thought I was at a dead end. I was so close. I was in the second half of the game, and I thought all of it was over. So I chose to look at another map, and to my surprise, there's another route I could take. This one is made more for Knuckles, but it looks like we can play as Sonic here with some careful platforming. So at this fork in the road, all you have to do is let the fire room go by, and just go through it. In this room with rising and lowering lava, you have to get to the last platform before the lava goes too low. Learned that the hard way. From there, I went through the breakable wall, and now I accidentally spin dashed under the toxin mister. Pressed the switch, and damn it. So yeah, you can spin dash under another Badnik. I feel like I know less about this game the more I play it. So going through my first route was fine. Spin dash, now I'm at the mini boss. Cheese the heat hands, and Act 1 is finally done. Oh boy. This act took me roughly 40 minutes because I was not aware of what I would deem to be crucial information. I am salty about this. Anyways, let's move on. After the lava cools off, Act 2 begins with me dodging fire and spikes. After the moving platforms, I jump on them so I can go a bit higher. It's just a more familiar route for me. Swung myself up, grabbed some free rings, and I'm just taking the straightforward path and started grabbing rings to save myself. Went to the higher path, and then I saw this spiked moving platform section, and then I spin dashed under the toxin misters. Fling myself up again, and I upgrade to a flame shield with this secret room in the wall. I even get a big ring with this other hidden room. Moving on, there are these spikes that go in and out of the foreground, which are dumb. Then a small climb up to lose the shield. I wanted to avoid spinning or air dashing, but it failed. Anyways, with that taken care of, I'm now at Knuckles. Thanks, my guy. I wanted to fight Eggman's Hot Mobile, but Hypersonic is harder to control. Next idea, try to get into the bonus stage, and it's gone. Third time's a charm. Thanks, Flame Shield. And with that, Lava Reef has been given its merciful end. Welcome to Hidden Palace. There are no Badniks here. Fight Knuckles. Foreshadowing. He loses the Master Emerald. Hidden Palace is now over. Getting beamed up starts Sky Sanctuary Zone, and these egg robos are the only enemies I have to avoid. Thank goodness. The biggest problem is this one that will surprise you, so spin dashing will be kept at a minimum. It's only a small amount of the level to travel until I reach the mini-boss. It's Mecha Sonic in the Egg Mobile, and it emulates the very first boss in Sonic 1. I then have two close encounters. The second one had a platform that lowered, so I could dodge it with ease. Had a little bit more to go, and it's Mecha Sonic emulating the Flying Eggman boss from Sonic 2. More of Sky Sanctuary to go, and then getting surprised before I reach the true fight with Mecha Sonic. The Insta Shield is so broken, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because now Sky Sanctuary Zone is done. Death Egg Zone starts with a Spike Bonker surprising me. Then I grabbed this handle only to get bounced into electricity. I hate that design choice. From there, this Chain Spike takes my Bubble Shield away, and from there the high route seems fine. Well, it's fine until I had to take a risky jump, but it was worth it to stay on that higher path. Now I have to wait for this machine to create a path where I can make progress, or else I'll just be going in circles. At the Red Spring, I get some rings and a free electric shield. I make it to this conveyor belt, and that shield will make it easier to dodge the projectiles, until I tried it again. After the second moving conveyor platform, I jump over the checkpoint in case I die, and hit these 6 buttons, and this is actually much more fun than it should be. From there are these boring things, and damage. Good thing I can skip the second ring shooter and make it to this mini-boss. The red eye goes down and Act 1 is done. We're so close. Act 2 starts with a stupid spring and near death. Then I'm flipped upside down and got stuck in this tunnel, but I wanted to go back for the monitors because of that electric shield. Thankfully, all you have to do is just go down and you get another electric shield. After that, I go towards the right and stupid spike bonkers. I then take these stairs down to the ceiling. Okay, I actually wanted to make the sentence sound like I was saying it through the perspective of Sonic, and it's pretty dumb. Transported once again, and I had to damage boost because the Badnik was a little too high. If I had the electric shield, I could risk it with the double jump, but I lost it some time ago. Gee, I wonder why. After 2 sets of conveyor belts, I jumped into the spikes and died. Turns out all I had to do was run. I was just overthinking it. I kept going and went through one more tube to nearly make a mistake. After the next checkpoint, I jump a little too close to the enemy, and after a damage boost, I then get into another ring shooter. It's a shame because I was actually able to skip this one, but not the next one. Anyways, I grabbed myself a lightning shield, and at last jumped over the final Badnik in the game to get to the boss, the Death Ball. I was one ring short, but at least I can be protected. With it taken down, it's now time to fight the Great Eggman Robo. Apparently we're the mob because we're taking out its fingers, and then we have a head-on fight against it. Actually, I'm surprised we're not taking out its kneecaps next. Anyways, he goes down, and Act 2 is now finished. And now I claim my prize. One more boss fight in the Doomsday Zone. Then death. After the second try, Dr. Eggman goes down, the Master Emerald has been retrieved, and Angel Island returns to the sky. And with that, our run is over, and Knuckles, go away. So, can you beat Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles without defeating a Badnik? The answer is yes. This was quite the journey. I will say that the Sonic 3 portion of the game is much more difficult than the and Knuckles portion. And keep in mind, the enemy and object placement was altered in Launch Base Zone. So I'm assuming that Sonic 3 would be even more difficult if I wasn't playing this with the and Knuckles expansion on it as well. Also, the amount of enemies I was able to spin dash under was astounding. And if you were curious about the amount of restarts that I had to do for Lava Reef Act 1, it was 8. It was 8 complete restarts just to get through Act 1. The record still goes to Wacky Workbench Act 2, but I'm not going to get started on that. I want to close this video by thanking you all for your patience. I know that this video should have come out a lot earlier, trust me, I'm aware of that. But for those of you who stuck around and are watching this one, thank you. Hopefully the next installment of this series will not take as long to release. If you like the video, like it, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon to get notifications for new episodes of Sonic Without Defeating a Badnik, and other videos that I release. At this time I want to thank my YouTube channel members for supporting the channel. Their names are on screen right now, and if you want to support the channel even more, you can do so by clicking the join button and checking out the perks for the membership. Don't forget to follow my social media pages, and with that said, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Let's take a dive in aquatic mind. Once was a cold pit, but now it's a water ride. Makes you wanna sit back, enjoy the life, and do things you like doing, get to shine. It's your bees fighting with the foes all the time, but I gotta